Happened over the weekend in Charlottesville, Virginia was just disgusting. I was watching the news like everyone else, and you're seeing like Nazi flags and torches and white supremacists, and I was sick to my stomach. My daughters are in the next room playing, and I'm thinking, how can I explain to them that there's so much hatred in this world?
Many feel the same sentiments that Jimmy Fallon so beautifully expressed. Joining us now to talk about how to talk to your kids about what's happening in the world is relationship expert Natasha Sharma. Good to see you again.
And there was a lot in what Jimmy Fallon had said, and that is, how do you talk to your kids? Some people choose to say, I don't need to talk to them about it. They don't need to know about it.
Mm-hmm. But at a young age, they're hearing things. And if you don't talk to them about it and they do know things, they're going to read or interpret what they hear by themselves or listen to maybe those one or two people at school who are spreading, could be misinformation or rumors, and affecting them and causing stress.
Yeah, and you're right. Even with young kids, sometimes there are kids at school whose parents have talked to them about it, they have brought it up, and then they'll hear about it from their friends. So I think with younger kids, you know, if you know that they haven't seen it or they don't know about it, I would say younger, being sort of under the age of 10, maybe 10 to 12, my recommendation actually wouldn't be to bring it up, just because they're pretty young. If they don't know about it, if you know that they're unaware, don't go there with them. If they do know about it, if they had heard about it from a friend, talk to them about it, but in a way that's developmentally appropriate. So for younger kids, my advice tends to be less is more, so they don't need to know terms like what a white supremacist is, what neo-Nazism is, but just that sometimes in the world, people do really bad things.
And you have to be prepared with an answer. So
yes.
It's better to educate yourself properly from the proper sites. But there's two other reasons that I really think that you bring up that you need to talk to your kids about. One is simply to explain. What is this? The other is, you may not even know this, but your kids, very good possibility, they could be being recruited and you don't even know it.
Well, you know, if you're in a situation like that, there's probably something else going on in the family or the child's life that would make them, you know, interested in that kind of thing. You know, these practices of recruitment tend to be more effective on kids who feel de-identified, is the sort of the psychological term. So they're searching, they feel lost, disenfranchised, or connecting some way to feeling marginalized themselves, or searching for some kind of an identity or a sense of belonging.
But as a parent of a teen, how do you know the difference? I mean, I went through angst when I was bullied in grade 8 and it carried throughout high school, where I would just stay in my room and I isolated myself. How do you know if it's something like that versus something like Kev is alluding to, where you see these young, impressionable teens getting recruited and being brainwashed, essentially?
I think it's tough to know for sure. There's some signs that you can look for, you know, extreme forms of anger, edginess, expressing a lot of resentment or bitterness towards the socioeconomic status of the world, you know, politicians dehumanizing people, making comments that aren't just, you know, negative, but are very derogatory, or sort of express a way that really brings a lot of contempt for people, which is not the sort of way, a healthy way to express your dissatisfaction with something. So those can be signs of a young person or a teenager who might be, you know, in a place where they're expressing an unhealthy degree of racial bias or racism.
And the other thing too is that the kids are exposed to this, and it appears that's all that's going on in the world. It's 24/7 madness and about what's going on. And kids tend to forget this is a horrible stain, but the world is still a very positive and beautiful place.
Yes, that's right. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at the news, you're going to get an overrepresentation of negativity, and that's a fact. But really, in terms of what's happening in the world, it really does represent a very small portion. It's very hard to believe, but it's a small percentage. I think we need to remind kids that there's still a lot of the good in the world. They should shift their focus to it without, you know, acknowledging that there is negative, but shift their focus to what is positive and good, and make efforts to make sure that they're putting goodness and kindness into the world through their own positive actions.
Natasha, thank you. Great insight as always. For more information, just go to the Kindness Journal. That's actually your book. Or you can visit the website, thekindnessjournal.com, and we'll have the link on our website.